Hey guys, welcome back to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan, coming to you from the Big Apple, New York City, New York. This is one of the core investing videos that most YouTubers come out with. The twist is that I'm going to give you guys 20 picks of my favorite dividend stocks. I probably could have picked 30 more, guys, but I actually carefully reviewed through my watch list, through other resources online to really bring you what I feel are the best dividend payers out there. Now, this is going to be part one of a dividend installation video, and I'm also going to be coming out with part two, which is going to be my worst dividend paying stocks. I'm going to give you 10 examples of where I think people go wrong in just seeking out a higher than average dividend. But just to get into these picks right now, guys, I'm going to edit this video and make the dividend stock picks that I throw out there a lot easier to see. So don't worry if you can't see them on the screen. It's really more for my reference in making the video. So these are going to be 20 of my best dividend stocks out there, guys, and this really kind of should be one of the very main areas of focus for you guys when you're picking out your stocks. You guys should be looking at the Dow Jones Industrial. That's really the pinnacle, the top of the iceberg. And then as you work down, right, you should start to comb through the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and finally the Russell 2000 for you guys that are looking for more small cap exposure, guys. But there's really no secret, okay? You don't have to go out there and find a needle in the haystack. And really, this is one of those very first places that you can check if you're a new investor and you don't really know where to look. Look at the best dividend paying stocks in the industry. So here's 20 examples from my perspective, guys. To start out, Simon Property Group, this is the one. I've owned 19 out of these 20 in my investing career. Simon Property Group is the only REIT that I have here on the board. Real Estate Investment Trust. I believe it's best in breed. It's one that I would actually invest in with a dividend of 4.49%, guys. As I work through these picks, I want you guys to kind of understand the dividend range that we're looking at, anywhere from the mid twos all the way up to about 6. The next one is the Blackstone Group, and that is the highest dividend payer that I've got and the only limited partnership that I've got in the group, and one that I've actually currently owned now on the long position now for multiple years. But the Blackstone Group comes in at 6.84, and on these master limited partnerships, these dividends can fluctuate all the way down. I've seen the dividend go to the low 5s, all the way up close to 10%. Right now, as of today, it's at 6.84%, so a little bit higher than average dividend on the Blackstone Group, but definitely good enough company with $1 trillion of assets under management to crack my top 20, and it's also a personal holding of mine. Royal Dutch Shell, one of my very favorite oil majors in the industry, very, very heavy presence in the U.S. and abroad. Royal Dutch Shell pays 6.25%. The A is for the Class A shares. I always recommend buying Class A shares. Usually you get a piece of voting rights with that, and usually a little bit better return year over year on your Class A shares. So Royal Dutch Shell. BHP Billiton, this has been a materials play. They're actually a very diversified suite of businesses that they're in within the materials and industrial sector, actually. They pay a 4.59. They're in minerals, materials, lots of different things with BHP Billiton. They took a very severe downturn here within the last couple of years. I've watched them go all the way down close to 19 bucks, I think was their bottom. But they've actually found their groove here. They're working at about 30 bucks a share. But if you want to get some exposure to this particular sector, BHP Billiton is one of the best in breed out there, guys. General Electric, another personal owning of mine, 3.94% on General Electric. Again, another major industrial company with exposure, I believe, across 25 different businesses, and it's one that I don't mind owning on the long haul in my safer portfolio. In General Electric, ticker symbol GIS is General Mills. Got a dividend there of 3.81. There's a ton of people always eating their Cheerios and a bunch of other food products out there, one of the very biggest, and they've actually paid dividends for a number of years. And that's also kind of a tell, is to really look at the company's track record in paying out dividends and the exposure of those dividends and their ability to pay out and improve upon those dividends year over year. The next one is IBM, one of those behemoths, going from its old legacy server business into the new cloud computing business, pays a dividend of 4.10%. Now, remember, these investments, you know, they may not fit into every portfolio, all right? But these should be really the names that you're looking as primary options to either fill gaps in portfolio where you need potential safe technology exposure. IBM, Microsoft, Cisco, Intel, those are the names that you want to be going to, all right? And I went ahead and named IBM as the top dividend payer because if you're going to pick this up on a 52-week low right now, it's actually a pretty good buy right now. IBM, with their restructuring going on, you make a 4.10% dividend while they're getting this thing worked through and made right. Pfizer in the healthcare industry, 3.55, another long-term holding of mine. Anybody looking to pick up Pfizer right here in the mid-30s is probably doing so at more of the top of the 52-week range. But again, with any of these names, a lot of people are hitting me up, you know, hey, I'm looking for a better entry point. You know, really with any of these stocks, the best time to buy any of these dividend payers really is any time, okay? You can sit there and try to you know, get a 5% reduction, and if you consider that a better entry point, okay, so be it. But these are really good, well-proven stocks over time, and you can really feel safe entering these stocks at any time, all right? Next one, Procter Gamble. Anybody who follows me knows it's one of my very personal favorites. Procter Gamble's approaching the 4%, a 3.99 year-over-year dividend. Just an excellent consumer discretionary play, and one that I recommend as one of those stocks that you should hold for your entire life, one of the top 5 stocks, in my opinion, of all time. Qualcomm pays 4.34% in the semiconductor subsector. AT&T, really one of the very best telecom sectors. You're only looking for 3% exposure in your portfolio for telecom, so I really wouldn't look much further than AT&T or Verizon. If you guys want to get into T-Mobile, you certainly can. There's certain things that I don't like when I read through what T-Mobile does, and I speak with a lot of people who are with T-Mobile and they're actually very unhappy. So unlike what the CEO of the company, I like him. I think Ledger's wonderful. But you know how it affects, you know, real people and how they're growing the business really isn't quite as attractive as a legacy business that's been around like AT&T at a 5.08% dividend. All right, I got Total Energy, ticker symbol TOT, paying out 6.36, so kind of that above average dividend yield on Total Energy. I know I've brought this up on my top 3 stock picks in my previous videos as one of those safe, one of the largest oil companies actually in the world. They're more international than they are domestic here. Exxon and Chevron really have this market kind of curtailed, but they're traditionally European oil major play, Total. Vodafone, again, with Verizon and AT&T having really the large piece of the chunk over here, and then T-Mobile, Sprint having the rest. Vodafone is actually your European cell phone, your India play for Vodafone. Vodafone pays a 5.98%, and I actually love this stock. I really do. I think at $28 a share right here, it's a bargain. These are the premier cell phone carriers abroad, so Vodafone is one of your good plays for dividend. Verizon, everybody knows it's a long-term holding of mine, 4.84% dividend. So I got hit up this morning on a piece of conversation that I was in online about why I don't own bonds in my particular portfolio. I take a little bit of an alternative strategy in that I would rather own a Verizon and pick up the 4.84% dividend and the chance of capital appreciation. That way I can set this up for dollar cost averaging and dividend reinvestment, as opposed to being locked into a bond for a particular term, 3, 6 months, a year, etc., for a lower than average return. I'm not happy with bond yields right now, and so I'd rather supplement my portfolio with some of these larger cap names in here. They're going to pay, you know, a nice dividend yield. And again, and I can get the capital appreciation out of them, all right? ExxonMobil's one of those stocks that you can just buy and hold forever. There's kind of a saying in the financial industry, if you're going to buy Exxon, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. You're also not going to lose a lot of money either. I think Exxon is actually a wonderful buy right here at the $80 price point per share, and you're going to make a 3.77% dividend while you're waiting for this thing to return back to the $100 a share level as prices of oil move up, all right? Chevron, kind of the same thing, really kind of the brother and sister of major oil plays. I have owned Exxon on the short. I don't currently own Exxon, but I do own Chevron on the long now, and I've owned Chevron for years. They pay a wonderful dividend, 3.69%, and that's probably the single most important play that I have to get myself the 9% energy exposure that I'm looking at in my total overall portfolio. The next four I wanted to offer because these are kind of above average dividends, really good dividend payers, but then I took a step back and I looked at my list and I said, are we missing any really, really good companies that don't pay this high of a dividend that should be included in this top 20, in my opinion, of dividend stock plays? So my thought was, if you were looking to build a portfolio of just high quality dividend payers, you know, what would be the additional stocks that you would want to include into that group that may not show up on that higher than average dividend yield, all right? And so I've got four here. Walmart has been a long-term holding of mine for quite some time. I believe in the company, I believe in the restructuring, I believe in the size, I believe in the market cap, and in any safe portfolio, Walmart is a phenomenal cornerstone to pay you a 2.58% dividend set up on reinvestment. Again, guys, right, and something that I occasionally strategically buy more shares of when I get a small adjustment back in the price of the share. Pepsi is a long-term holding, again in the safe portfolio. I compared it to Coca-Cola, and I know there's a lot of people out there who would prefer Coca-Cola over Pepsi. Not me, based on my research. I like PepsiCo better. Pays a dividend here of 2.91. It will and is going to be and continue to be a long-term holding of mine in the safe portfolio. And finally, to round off my top 20 guys, I've got Johnson & Johnson that I've owned for years on the long in the healthcare sector at 2.52%. And then I've got the last one here, Kraft Heinz Foods at 3.2%, an excellent cornerstone stock if you're looking for a really, really good dividend payer that can be a really, really good addition to any safe portfolio. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my top 20 best dividend stocks. I hope you find value in the content. If this is your first time coming across the Independent Investor channel, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel. That way you'll be notified of any future videos that I put online. Share this video with anybody out there that you know that can benefit from any stock market information. They're looking to get involved in the stock market and you think that they can benefit from the information. Please share your comments at the bottom of the video, guys, as I review those and I respond to every single one of them in depth. Finally, share the link with anybody out there that you know, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to my top 20 best dividend stocks of all time, and good luck in your investment future.